Hey guys, today we're doing the spoiler review of Resident Evil Afterlife. I I'm ner- I'm so I'm kind of nervous. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. I'm very nervous for Retribution, but basically this movie starts with some lady. Well, it starts with people walking. One of them becomes a zombies. Then it cuts to 40 years later. The 4 years later, the city's destroyed. There's these two guys with sniper rifles up on these buildings. One of them, it's also kind of cool because they're both speaking Japanese, so I had to turn on subtitles for the first one. But I kind of thought that was cool that they speak Japanese even in the American version. I kind of thought that was cool. One of them just like disappears, like something happened to him. The other guy's worried. Then he starts dying to something. Then it cuts to I think it said 6 months later or something like, yeah, or no, I think that's later. It cuts to a an umbrella underground giant facility, just like similar to the Hive under Raccoon City, but under Tokyo, and there's like an intruder in the building. It's the Alice clones. The Alice clones are just going around, just killing a bunch of. They kill all the soldiers. They kill everybody except for Wesker. Wesker gets on an airplane. Jill, or not Jill, actual Alice shows up to shoot him in the face. Kind of takes. But he stabs her with a needle that gets rid of the T virus from her cells, so she lost her powers and stuff. And she said, and but like before he could, and Wesker just starts beating her like in a fight. And before he kills Alice, the helicopter starts going down, but Alice thanks him for making her human. And then the helicopter crashes, and then it cuts to 6 months later. Alice is flying this red airplane to Alaska to meet up with Claire and everybody. She gets there. There's a lot of airplanes. She finds the helicopter they took. There's an envelope thing in there. She finds Claire. Well, she sees somebody run past. She starts looking. It ends up being Claire with this red. I don't know exactly what it is. It's similar. If you got, it's similar to like I believe it's similar to what's on Jill and RE5. I think it's basically that. But yeah, she has that on. Alice gets it off of her. Claire doesn't remember anything. Yet they're flying. They get to LA and they find some people that are still alive. So they get down to them. There's Luther. Luther's like a celebrity guy from basketball and some other stuff. He's like the leader of it. There's this producer guy who's kind of a jerk. There's this other guy who's kind of a little pussy. Uh, if you guys saw the extinction video, that's kind of a similar thing in that. But yeah, basically, he's not really shown as being. He's not very brave shown. He's just kind of there. Then you have this other guy who is kind of shown. Who is shown as he's kind of wearing like a military thing, and then there's a guy named, oh god, what was this name? Then there's Chris, who's this guy who's locked up in this prison. Chris Redfield. They say his last name later, but yeah, it's Chris. It's good old Chris from the games. And there's a guy. No, it was. I can't remember what Warren. I don't remember. There's this other guy that's down there with them, and then basically they're in this prison. And they're talking with Alice, showing her around stuff. At one point, Alice is taking a shower, but Darren or whatever his name was is like watching her. So she proceeds to shoot him. Well, she's telling him to leave. These thing, these zombie things come up. It's weird, but these zombie things remind me. Well, it kind of gives. Oh, okay. Kind of gives me Demogorgon vibes. if you guys have watched Stranger Things, because as you because if you've seen that show, you know how Demogorgons like faces. Yeah, these zombies had very similar faces to that. Like they opened up and everything exactly like that. Of course, Demogorgon came after, but he's kind of the best comparison I could think of. So yeah, there's a few of them in there in that shower room. Alice is shooting them. The one guy, Darren or whatever his name is, he gets dragged off by one. He's dead. Don't worry about him. Uh, and then at one point they decide we gotta let. They think Chris is a bad person, or at least the producer guy does. They let Chris out. Chris sees Claire and of course is being oh whatever about. They explain that Claire like lost her memory, so she doesn't remember that that's her brother. But you know, there's that. And then there was so much happening. Claire, at one point while they're in the prison, Claire remembers a little bit about what happened on the island. They like took the, they were taking everybody, but she couldn't remember why she left or all that. And then, and then it just, and then I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, so Chris basically when they let him out, he tells them a way to escape. There's this super armored 16 wheels. It can hold 20 people, like armored truck thing that they can use to drive out for the zombies. Then get to the water, get on boats, and go out to the ship. The Abba, not Abba. They thought it was a city in Alaska, but it ended up being a ship. That's revealed pretty early. Um, can't remember the ship's name. Doesn't fully matter. It got so there's three guys. So um, the producer and the Solar Soldier guy trying to get open. The producer with him, and then the fur dude, and then the guy who's a little pussy. He was there too, holding a gun. Alice, Alice, a girl named Crystal, who I thought was supposed to be Jill, but was longer hair because she was wearing a very similar top that Jill wears in the first movie, in the second, in Apocalypse, but it's not as good than Crystal. And Chris, they're going to the armory, and then Lucifer and Claire are trying to, they're trying to protect the entrance to the prison because there's this big zombie that is just tanking hits who is holding a giant like makeshift axe. Dude, they shot him in the face so many times and he was still alive. It's ridiculous. Um, so I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, so Crystal, Alice, and Chris they eventually get to the armory door, and something grabs Crystal. She's dead. Don't worry about Crystal. She's dead. Um, there's just a lot of those zombies with like the Demogorgon-esque flower mouth things. I don't know what exactly these zombies are supposed to be, but it's weird. Um, and then there's also there's just a lot of zombies coming out of the water. So they are essentially trapped in the armory. They grab some weapons, and then they go through the vent out. While that's happening, the while that's happening, they get the door open to the car, to this armored vehicle, and the producer shoots and kills the like experienced guy in the like guy in the military esque like vest. Just shoots him for no reason. Just shoots him in the face, and then and then while that's happening, Lucifer and Claire they're running away from the entrance because the entrance is collapsing because of the big guy with the axe. The producer guy steals Alice's airplane, flies off. Oh my god, I will kill you. He flies off to the ship. They thought he was gonna die, but he didn't. So that's fun. And then or not he, And then so the zombies show up, and everybody but Alice gets into an elevator. Alice throws some C4 up there, explodes, so they go down. And then she's just being a badass. You know, Alice is just being a badass. She's fighting a bunch of zombies, trying to get in. Woofer helps her out. It was a kind of a cool scene of Alice is running, shooting zombies. She throws her revolvers, pulls out these double barrel shotguns set down stocks, and just shooting zombies. And then she slides under a thing and then she slides, and then Lufer's closing this door. So as soon as she gets in, the door closes, which was pretty cool looking. And then and then they decide to go through the tunnel that first sort of Demogorgon esque zombie thing came out of. So Chris gets in there, then Lufer, Claire and Alice are. Claire's trying to get the little pussy to go down, but he's not. Then he dies. The little pussy just dies to the giant zombie with the axe because he was in there. And then Alice is fighting him. She gets knocked into but because she doesn't have her powers throughout pretty much this entire movie, because of Wesker stabbing her with the thing, thrown into a she gets thrown at some of the like toilet things and gets like knocked out by it, and she's doing a bunch of other stuff. Uh, but yeah, so basically, yeah. So Claire decides to step up to the plate and fight this thing because Alice is on the ground. She runs at the wall. She like runs up the wall and stuff, and then she shoots him, the big zombie, in the face. And then at one point cause she like slid under it and shot it in the face, and then it throws its axe, and then Alice and Claire are standing together. It throws its axe at them. Alice grabs Claire, knocks them down just low enough, like literally just low enough that it doesn't hit them. And then so that happens, and then what else happens? So yes, and then Alice shoots it in the face, so it's dead. And then they go to the and then they go to then they climb into the thing. Lufer, I I'm a little nervous about. We'll get to why I'm a little nervous about about him in regards to the next movie. We'll get there, but basically, Chris is already out in the sewer. Claire goes out, then Alice, and then Lufer's about to jump out, but one of those Demogorgon thing grabs him, and the hole like kind of caves in, so they think he's dead. Well, Alice really wants to help him. Claire is like, "You gotta let him go. Like we gotta keep moving." So he's presumed dead. Obviously, I allude to the fact that he's not. We'll get there, but yeah. So the three of them, they get on. Claire, Chris, and Alice get on a boat. They get on a little boat. They get to the giant ship. They climb up. The airplane is there, crashed, and like basically crashed into the giant. This is a massive ship, and they're looking through. Apparently, 3 days ago was that last transmission. All the boats were evacuated, but I said there were 2,000 people left. So they're walking around. They find out that this boat was made by Umbrella. Claire's finally starting to remember that Umbrella came out and was like acting like they were helping them, but then putting those red crystally things on them. If you guys have watched JoJo, it kind of looked like I can't remember the character. I think it's part one or part two. One of the characters has that crystal. They have that necklace with that green, not green, with that red crystal, and it was like a big, very important thing to I think using Haman in that movie or in JoJo or something. I forget the specific. I just know it was like very important. Like it was just a super important necklace. It kind of looked like that, but obviously, again, if you've played RE5, it's the same thing from that Jill has at one point in that game. So they get to the ship. They're going through. They're like letting everybody out. Claire, they let out Kmart first from the third movie. Claire's trying to get the thing off. It Jill or not Jill. I wish. I wish Jill was there, but she's not for some reason, which is a little concerning to me. I kind of hope nothing bad happened to Jill, but you never know. So this movie ended in a weird way. We'll get there. But yeah, so Alice follows the trail of blood to this hangar, and then she keeps walking. Chris eventually sees it, so he starts following, and Alice finds Wesker just sitting in this chair in the room with two zombie dogs with him, and the producer guy's in there as well with a gun. Basically, he doesn't have a thing on him. He's just working for Wesker, at least for the moment. Wesker's talking about how he injected himself with the T virus, but the T virus started winning, so he was using the survivors that went there as sort of test subjects to like put more human blood into him so he could defeat it. But then his plan changed to trying to take Alice because Alice's blood like bonded with the T virus, so he was gonna kill Alice, put her blood into him, so he could become like the strongest and be able to fully, handle it. And then Chris and Claire come in. So there was a bunch of fight. Chris and Claire fighting Wesker. Well, first Alice kicks a tray with some knives on it at Wesker, and then she's fighting the two zombie dogs. And then Wesker. Oh my God, Wesker! I don't. He doesn't really seem. He has something similar to Ouroboros, which is really weird. His mouth. He has this thing where when he opens up his mouth, a bunch of these tentacle things come out of his mouth and like attack you, which is similar to which is similar to the guy from Extinction, the big guy from Extinction, except I believe the guy from Extinction, I don't remember if the tentacles came out of his mouth or not. I think they might have. I can't remember. But it's weird seeing it through Wesker, if it was in fact from the guy from Extincion's mouth, because Wesker is fully human looking and he's got these things coming out of his mouth, which was kind of weird. But yeah, so he also has another ability, which is basically just Ultra Instinct. I mean, he's literally like, he's moving super fast. Like, the way that they decided to show it is interesting. But he's shown as being super fast and just like dodging all the bullets. So yeah, he knocks Chris and Claire into these test tube things, and then Alice kills the two dogs, and then she stabs Wesker in the face, and then she shoots him in the face with a shot because like Wesker opens up his mouth, tentacle things come out, she shoots him in the face with the shotgun, so he's presumed dead. The producer guy is just there. He's not really doing anything throughout this whole scene. He's just there. And then but yeah, so there and then Alice lets out. Oh yeah, no, that's right. Kmart came in at one point. Kmart doesn't talk in this movie, like literally never says a line in this movie. But yeah, Kmart comes in, and the producer's like, "Who are you?" Like, because obviously he didn't recognize her. She, I don't think Kmart killed. She doesn't kill the producer, but she like hit him or something. I forget. She, froze. All I remember was that she like fought the guy a little bit, like pushed him over or something. I don't fully remember. And then she throws Alice the shotgun that she shoots Wesker in the face with. Alice lets out Claire and Chris, and the plan is, well, and then Wesker, the plan, and then they're like looking at some stuff. They're letting everybody out, telling them that's gonna be okay, and a helicopter flies off, except and it's shown that Wesker is still alive, even though not only did he get shot in the face by Alice, but Chris and Claire literally just emptied like mags of their pistols into him to make sure, try to ensure he was dead. Yeah, he survived all that. He's flying a helicopter. There's a bomb, but and he does what he did to the facility in Japan where he like set off these bombs and exploded everything, which I believe is why the Alice clones are just gone, is because I'm pretty sure they all died in that explosion. Unless there is still some Alice clones and Alice is having them do something else, it's really not explained. The clones pretty much only show up at the beginning, and then it's not explained what the. It's also not fully explained, like what the computer person thing from Free was doing. There's a lot of stuff not explained, but yeah, basically, like a lot of stuff not explained from Free. But yeah, so they the bomb goes off. Wesker is presumed dead because the helicopter explodes, and then they don't know what to do. So Alice decides to make the ship do its intended purpose. But as that's happening, oh yeah, it cuts to Lucifer. He's in the sewers. He shoots two of the Demogorgon as zombies in the face, and then he's leaving. Well, he's leaving the pipe. He's looking at the ship. So I'm assuming he's gonna go get to the ship because that's like where he knew the others were going to go. So I really hope Lucifer is in Retribution because I do like Lucifer. I think he's a cool character, and I'm excited. So I'm excited to see him, and I'm excited to. I hope nothing bad happens to him, but you really never know with these movies. There's a lot of stuff that has kind of happened in these movies that are kind of all over the place. God, there's just so much happening in this movie. And yeah, so basically what happens is that, and then there's a bunch of helicopters that are flying at this was the part I needed to do research for, just so you guys know. So they're flying. In fact, I might try to find a picture of it just to show you what I'm talking about. So actually, I'm gonna do that sometime about. So there's these helicopters that are flying at them. They're flying at the ship. Then we're gonna do some of this action. I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. And there's a bunch of soldiers on them, and amongst these soldiers is a girl that has that red thing on her, and it has the red. What? No. What are you doing? I'm so confused. But yeah, and then they're. Wait, it got rid of the thing. Really? God, I have to do all this again. There. Okay. Okay. We're good. And there's a blonde lady. There's this blonde haired lady that's talking to the soldiers, being all like whatever, as they're getting closer. And as the helicopters, there's a ridiculous amount of helicopters. As they get there, it's revealed that they, are. That it just goes to the credits. But yeah, so the part that I'm confused about is the blonde hair lady. A lot of people have the same question I do because I didn't even. Apparently, that's Jill. But what throws me off is how different she looks from Apocalypse Jill. So yeah, this is. Here, I'll first. This right here, this is Jill. Apparently, this is what it was called, Evil Jill, because it's Jill, but she's mind controlled by that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That thing. That's mind controlling her. So she's just evil. I don't fully understand it if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is Jill. in this movie. She's at that end screen. She's talking to all this. She's showing us the leader of all the soldiers. She's like talking to. It's the same actress as the one from Apocalypse, but what throws me off is how different in this movie she looks. I have no idea what's going on here. That's weird. Like I don't fully get this because this is Jill from Apocalypse, right? This is how I remembered her looking. This is Apocalypse Jill, and that's Apocalypse Jill. This is how I'm used to her looking. So when I saw this, I obviously had no clue who it was. It's the same actress, but I like how was I supposed to know this was Jill when I'm used to Apocalypse Jill, you know? But yeah, this is evil. I don't know exactly what we're looking at right now. There's Alice. But yeah, this is how I was kind of expecting her to look. And apparently she was supposed to be an extinction. I'm assuming she would have looked similarly to this. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, apparently the original idea for extinction, I'm just going to show Apocalypse Jill because it's the way I'm used to her looking. Jill here was supposed to be angry at Alice because Alice, under control of Umbrella like took control of her, and under the control of her of under the control of Umbrella, because Umbrella took control of Alice, she shoots Angela in the face. So the original idea is because of that happening, Jill here was supposed to be the convoy leader and very angry at um, at at her girl Alice for doing that, which then would have meant that what the afterlife Jill may not have never happened because and then zombie Carlos was supposed to bite Jill here, and Jill here was supposed to do some stuff. I guess at the end, like I guess I don't fully remember what it said, like what the post that I saw said that was supposed to happen, but she was supposed to like start turning, and then something was supposed to happen with Jill apparently at that point. Again, I don't know the specifics of it. That was the original idea for Extinction. Of course, she was in the actress here. I can't think of her name. I guess she was in a movie called Aragon. So because of that, scheduling wasn't going to work out. So they just replaced her with Claire, which is why Claire is or is in all these movies now, and because of that, apparently, just from a little other research, it's never explained like how they took control of her. I don't know if it's explained like I don't know if I don't know if this whole thing is explained. Like I don't know if it's explained like why she has blonde hair and her hair is longer. Hi, Alice from I think that's Apocalypse. But yeah, oh this is Jill. Apparently, I don't. I really don't. I really I really don't get how this is. How was I supposed to know it's Jill? But yeah, I'm gonna end it here before I just keep rambling about the whole Jill stuff. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell, do all the algorithmic garbage. It helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to us. I'm gonna try to do Retribution in the final chapter sometime soon. I really hope nothing bad happens to Jill in the next movie, but you never know. Obviously, I would hate for something bad to happen to her because Jill is definitely one of my favorite Resident Evil characters. I don't know if she was my overall favorite. I'm still upset that they killed Carlos because he's a video game character, so that upsets me. OJ dying is kind of whatever. I wasn't fully attached to him. Angela dying hurts me at least. The whole Angela never being mentioned thing is kind of upsetting because apparently, canonically, she's dead to, I guess, Alice or soldiers shooting her. I've seen both of those as reasons, so I don't know. And then there's a lot of the characters from 1 I didn't care about too much. Of course, a lot of them are dead. Matt was kind of cool, but then, he's dead. A lot of people are dead. Um, So I'm not sure what's happening. I'm happy Kmart wasn't dead because they kind of acted like Kmart would. Well, parts of this movie made it seem like Kmart would be dead, but she's not, which is nice. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here now. But I am going to watch Retribution sometime soon. So expect my spoiler free and spoiler review of that very soon, and the final chapter one very soon as well. This is going into every movie here. I'm nervous because I never know what to expect. You know what I mean? Because these movies are just so different compared to like the other movies. Oh hey, it says figures, but that's the actress. I don't know what that's about. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, let me know, guys. If you want to see me do, say, like the Resident Evil show, I'm not against it, but I always want to do the movie right now. But yeah, bye, guys.